Welcome everybody to our event today, Pluralistic Counselling and Psychotherapy, our interview with John McLeod. A very warm welcome to you, John, tonight. Mm-hmm. It's lovely to have you with us, and a warm welcome to everybody who is also with us on the website. So, although John and I can't see or hear the online audience, we can see the chat room. And we really encourage you to put in your comments or your questions for John, and we're hoping we'll have an interactive event today. Yeah. So, first of all, John, I'd like to ask you, because we're all meeting here in a virtual space, whereabouts in the world are you located geographically?
Right. Well, I'm in Scotland. And I'm about 10 miles east of Perth and about almost an hour and a half north of Edinburgh. And I'm in a little cottage up a hill up in the countryside. And one of the implications of that is, as far as I can see, there is one little wire attaching my house to the internet, and things can go wrong. Like if the next door neighbour decides to download something, the line may be lost and so forth. So that's part of living in a sort of rural community. I've got a little building next door where my wife and I see clients, and we've got a huge area of ground around us, including a writing shed at the far end of the garden where no one else is allowed to visit, where I do my writing. So that's it. So I'd like to say hello to anyone out there who knows me. Whether there are some of you from very distant places, it will be good to hear from you later on. Yeah, so that's kind of where I am geographically. And of course, well, I'm in my kitchen. This is my kitchen. So it's kind of odd to be in my kitchen and to be kind of, like answering questions and giving a lecture and so forth. Usually in my kitchen at this time I would be preparing to watch X Factor on the TV or something like that. So I'm the warm-up for X Factor tonight.
Oh, well, thanks for allowing us to interrupt your television viewing schedule, John. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And lovely to get a sense of your setting. From what you're saying, you're in a very beautiful part of Scotland. And thanks also for the warning about the internet connection. I guess the picture might just be a little bit jittery for people tonight because of that tenuous connection down the wire. But fingers crossed.
Hope it's okay.
So we're here to talk about your new book, the one that you've written with Mick Cooper, Pluralistic Counselling and Psychotherapy. But before we get to the book, could you give us a sense of your journey up to that publication?
Yeah. Well, I brought the book with me. Here's the book, right? And when you describe it as a new book, actually it seems ages ago when Mick Cooper and I wrote it. And although it's just come out, relatively recently. So I think I may find myself talking about things that are kind of beyond what's in the book. But in terms of my journey to that book, I think that like a lot of people, I became interested in counselling and psychotherapy through my own needs, if you like, sort of my own issues and difficulties in life. My other life was kind of odd in some ways. I spent the first 6 years of my life living in India. My father, like my family comes from Dundee, which is near here, and Dundee was always very connected with the jute trade in India. So there's a lot of people from Dundee working in India. So I lived in India and then came back at the age of 6 to attend a sort of an ordinary state primary school, and I had this huge sense of different cultures, right, and cultural location, and I mean, obviously at that age I wasn't thinking, who am I? But I mean, in effect, I was, that was around. My brother and I at that time, that's my dog, by the way.
Welcome to the dog.
I don't know what on earth is making him bark, but my brother and I could speak. We came back from India being able to speak Hindi, so we were walking around the streets of Dundee and going on buses and speaking Hindi, and so it was like that was kind of in the background for me. So as I grew up, there was a kind of sense of not fitting in, and eventually when I went to university, a lot of these things became, kind of left home, went to university, a lot of these things sort of came to the boil. And anyway, I ended up, after, starting to do a different subject, I ended up studying psychology because I thought I would understand myself through studying psychology at university. I mean, this is a major error to think that studying academic psychology is going to produce very much in the way of self-knowledge and so forth. But and then I started trying out different types of therapeutic experience and spiritual experiences and things like that. And then, am I going into too much detail? Is this okay to just keep going for a bit?
No, that sounds good to get a real background. Yeah. Thank you, John.
Yeah, we'll get there in the end, right? So I tried Gestalt therapy, transaction analysis, body therapy, meditation, bits of Sufism, I don't know, loads of things. And then I did a PhD, which was around, somewhat unsurprisingly, was around the topic of personal growth and how people develop in life. And then I became a psychology lecturer and mainly taught theories of personality and group dynamics and things like that. So anyways, all of that went on until that takes us up to when I was about 35, right?
Okay.
I then kind of thought, well, I can offer something to other people. Yeah, I can be a counsellor, I can be a psychotherapist. So I enrolled for the first of the many training courses that Dave Mearns and Elke Lambert and Brian Thorne ran, person-centered training course. So then I was kind of immersed in the person-centered